Hi, I'm Robert Peterson. I'm a senior specialist in HUD's Office of Community Planning and Development. And today I'm going to talk to you about using your Community Development Block Grant to provide benefit to low and moderate income people. There's a lot of ways that the Community Development Block Grant, or CDBG, can be used to benefit low and moderate income people by providing housing, jobs, services to clients. We're going to talk mostly about area benefit. These are the types of activities funded with CDBG that benefit all the residents of an area, typically parks, also public facilities such as water, sewer, streets. There's a variety of activities that can qualify using this national objective. Some of the basic requirements related to area benefit activities are that the activity provide benefits to all the residents of the area. This essentially means it's open to the public. Additionally, that area has to be primarily residential, and at least 51% of the persons living in the area must be low and moderate income persons. So the first question is, what is the area that will benefit from this activity? And there's a lot of ways that you could imagine delineating or drawing out an area that's going to benefit. There's things called walk sheds and drive times. If you imagine a park, is it accessible? Is there a river or an interstate? How are people going to receive benefits from your particular activity? And most importantly, we ask that that be a reasonable delineation of a service area. We don't have specific requirements, only that it be reasonably delineated. And it does not need to be coterminous, or it does not need to use the same lines that the Census Bureau uses in the geographies that it provides. But most importantly, it must be reasonable. And we especially look to see that our areas, our service areas for our activities, are designed in such a way that they're capturing the people that are actually benefiting. And what we mean by this is that we don't want to see service areas that are designed to benefit upper income areas, yet drawn in a way that shows that they benefit low income areas when they really don't. So the second question is, how do you determine whether or not that activity is benefiting an area that's at least 51% low and moderate income? So there's two different ways to answer this question. We provide data, and you can also do a local survey. Now, normally you would look at the HUD provided data first, and if the area doesn't qualify according to the data that we provide, then you have the option to do a local survey. But we're going to start by going through the local surveys because it better explains the structure of our data. A local survey may be used to determine the LMI status of the persons living in the area. And to do a local survey, you can refer to our guidance found in CPD Notice 14-13, which deals exclusively with conducting local income surveys. Additionally, we have Notice 1902, which is dedicated to the HUD-provided data on LMI. However, there is a section in that notice that deals with the acceptable margins of error for statistically sound surveys. When conducting a survey, as you can imagine, you would knock on the door, mail out a survey, call on the phone, or use the internet. And there's four basic questions you would use when conducting a local income survey. The first is to ask the number of families in the household. This is because the CDBG regulations go beyond the HUD definition, the general HUD definition of a family or a household, to ask the question of whether or not those persons are related. So for unrelated persons, they're considered separate families, and a single unrelated person would be considered a one-person family for the purpose of the LMI designation. So in this example, you can see we have a one-person family and a four-person family. The next question is the number of persons in each family, and family income, and race and ethnicity. In the context of family income, you're asking a basic question about what the income is for the family, and a lot of times people are not necessarily comfortable providing their exact family income. in which case it's easy to ask whether or not that family's income is above or below the family income limit. Now for those limits, we use the Section 8 income limits found at huduser.gov. And here's how to look those up. So this is for the area of Los Angeles, and we're looking up the low income limit at 80% of the area median income. The reason we use low is because the Section 8 definition and the CDBG definition are a little bit different. For us, low and moderate income persons are 80% area median income. For Section 8, it just says low. So this also, for CDBG, it means both low and moderate, 80% area median income. And they're provided for family sizes. So a one-person family would be $58,450 income limit, and a four-person family would be $83,500. There is an exception to the Section 8 income limits for 10 areas in the United States found in communities throughout the country. These communities are allowed to use income limits that are slightly higher. They're called uncapped because they're calculated in a way that removes a calculation and adjustment that was introduced in the 90s related to family income or family size. I'm not going to get into the details of how that's calculated. Just know that there are income limits that are slightly higher for some communities. So back to these questions. What we're doing is determining the LMI status per family. So it's possible that two families in a single household could have distinct LMI determinations. In this case, we have a four-person family that is not low and moderate income, and a one-person family that is low and moderate income. So for this particular house, if we add it up, we have 5 people in total. 1 is low and moderate income, so the LMI percentage would be 20%. Now, you're going to do more than one house, obviously. So you're going to do a sample size determination for your community using a 90% confidence level, which is what the American Community Survey uses as well. And then a margin of error that's either the lesser of 10%, plus or minus 10%, or the margin of error in the HUD-provided data. The basic notion here is that if you're going to use a survey instead of the data that HUD provides, then your survey has to at least be as good as ours. And here's how you calculate your sample size. For a population of 2,500 persons and a 90% confidence level with a margin of error of 10%, you'd have to randomly sample 66 persons. And this is a bit of a reduction in our prior recommendations. And we've done this in order to make sampling easier and more affordable and less administratively burdensome for our grantees. And here's how you calculate the response. You'd add up for all of your samples, you would add up the number of LMI persons and divide by the total number of persons to equal your LMI percentage. It has to at least be 51%. We don't allow rounding, so 50.9% would not be considered to qualify. Additionally, there is an exception for what's called the upper quartile. If you imagine a jurisdiction of a grantee that has 100 block groups. Now, a block group is a census boundary that roughly corresponds to a small neighborhood. And we'll talk more about that in just a minute. But for the upper quartile, if you imagine a grantee that has 100 block groups, if you're to order the block groups from the lowest income, that's our priority, the lowest income block groups at the top to the highest income block groups at the bottom, if you look at the LMI percentage of the 75th block group, that would be your new designation for your threshold. If that block group was maybe 48% LMI, then that community could do area benefit activities provided that the service area was benefiting residents who were 48% LMI. Essentially, those 25 lowest income block groups would be the ones that would qualify for area benefit activities. So again, we're asking the question here, we've already determined our service area. And we're asking the question of whether or not that service area is going to qualify under the LMI benefit. What's the percent LMI? And we've just gone through the methodology to do your own survey. Let's take a look at the easier way, which is to look at the HUD-provided data. So over the years, HUD has provided data on the LMI status of our residents based on a variety of different vintages of data from the US Census Bureau. We've used the 1990 decennial census, the 2000 decennial census, and then switching to the 2006 to 2010 American Community Survey, or ACS, 5-year estimates. And then currently, we're on the 2011 to 2015 American Community Survey as the basis for our current and, in effect, LMI summary data. Now, we build our data from data provided to us by the US Census Bureau in what's called a special tabulation. This is because the data that we receive from the Census Bureau is not available on public tables. You're not able to go to American Fact Finder and look up data from the Census Bureau that corresponds exactly to the data that we need for our program, because we combine income and family size tables in such a way that's not available in the public tables. So let's talk about the geographies that we provide. A little bit of Geography 101. We're going to go to the most basic building block of the US Census Bureau's geographies. If you imagine this community, this is in Cheeseman Park in Denver, Colorado. And we're going to draw a line that uses the streets. And this is the most basic building block for the census geographies. We're ignoring the large alley down the middle, just the streets that encompass these houses. This is called a block. Now, if I zoom out and I look at the blocks around that, and I compile them together in a single geography, that's called a block group. And this is the geography at which we provide our data. Now, if I zoom out a little bit more, and I look at other block groups in the area, I can combine up to 9 of those into a single tract. A lot of people are most familiar with the census tract data. But we're getting a little bit more granular for our program and using the block group data. Now, let's go back to that block group. I'm going to zoom out and look at the entire city and look at all the block groups in all of Denver. And you can see that there's a lot of options here to build a service area using these different little puzzle pieces to represent the service area for your activity. Now, if I go to a rural area, it's not necessarily the case. Block groups look much different in rural areas. So we provide data at a much different level. We provide these jurisdictions. Now, these jurisdictions can be incorporated places or unincorporated places, which the Census Bureau designates as places. And if I take a look out a little bit further, this is Sarles, North Dakota. I can see all the other little towns in northern North Dakota. And these are the jurisdictions that we also provide in our LMI data. So when you're doing an activity in a rural area that's benefiting the entirety of the town, and most common water projects fit that definition, it's logical that you would use the LMI data that we provide at the place level geography, as opposed to the block group. And let me show you why. Here are the block groups. And as you can see, in a rural area, the block group is pretty large. As a matter of fact, in this case, this block group includes 8 small towns. You would not be using a block group to represent the LMI percentage of this area because the activity is not benefiting the entirety of the block group, most likely. The block group is so large because block groups are based on population. And as population and density decreases, the size of the block group increases. So, in summary, we provide data at the block group and the place level. And depending on where your activity is, you're going to get your best granularity, your best match for your service area in urban areas using your block groups, and in rural areas using places. Now, a little bit more about the HUD provided data and how it actually looks. For that, you're going to go to www.hudexchange.info. This is our page of low and moderate income data on hudexchange.info. You'll find the two-step process that we discussed to first determine your service area, followed by documenting the percentage of low and moderate income persons in that area. Links to the notices I've referenced. And here is the most current applicable data set, referencing the 2011 to 2015 American Community Survey. Go to that page. And on the right, you'll see that we provide links to the data sets. This link will take you to an Excel file for the block groups of the entire United States. This file provides block groups by entitlement grantee. The local government summaries file is an Excel file of the place data. Then we also provide data by grantee, calculating their overall LMI percent for the entire jurisdiction of that grantee. Additionally, in related information, you'll find links to the exception grantees that use the upper quartile percentage in lieu of 51%, as well as a link to data for our uncapped grantees, which are granted an exception to use different income limits. The most important thing, I think, and the easiest way to look at these data are to use the map application. The landing page of the low and moderate income summary data map application includes a description as well as instructions, which I highly encourage everyone to read, and specifically the instructions regarding how to combine multiple geographies, which I will show you during this presentation. To open up the application, click View Application. Step 1 of using the map application is to search for the area. Let's go to that little rural town in North Dakota, Sarles. Step 2 is to pick which layer you'd like to view. I'm going to use the place layer. Turn off these other LMISD layers, leaving only the place layer selected. Now I can click on Sarles, North Dakota, and I can view their data to see that they are 66.67% low to moderate income. Therefore, if I was to do an activity in Sarles that benefited the entire town, such as a water system or some other activity, that would qualify for CDBG funding. Now, let me show you a little bit more complicated example. Let's go to that same neighborhood in Denver, Cheeseman Park. And this time I'm going to look at the block groups. You can choose the block group to look at to see that this particular block group is 54% LMI. For example, this particular block group is 61% LMI. But what we need to do is we need to build a service area that encompasses multiple block groups. So if we imagine doing an activity in this park that's going to benefit the residents of this area, I want to combine all these block groups and recalculate an LMI percentage for the entire area. So I'm going to go to step 3 to select a service area. Click on the select menu. I like to use the lasso. And I'm going to use the lasso to essentially select the geographies that I feel that are most likely to benefit my reasonably delineated service area. And that's going to select all the block groups that correspond to that service area, all the ones that overlap. And again, they do not need to be coterminous. I don't need to prorate any block groups in half or anything like that. I can select the entire block group. And now I want to calculate the new LMI percentage for all of these block groups. So I'll open this menu. I have 31 block groups selected. Click on the three little dots. Go to Export CSV File. That file will open in Excel. Here are all my block groups that I have selected. Now I need to calculate a new LMI percentage. To do that, I'm going to use a simple little formula. I'm going to add up the low and moderate income persons, which is this column, column L. I'm going to divide it by the sum total of everyone involved. So the low and moderate income universe column, which is column N. I'm going to multiply by 100. My result is 46.4% low and moderate income. If that was my service area for the activity, that activity wouldn't qualify for area benefit. One more thing I'd like to show you. With those block groups selected, there is a statistics tool that provides an average which is distinct from the average calculated here. The reason for that is that for most attributes, calculating an average is fine. However, when that attribute is a percentage, calculating an average of percentages is mathematically incorrect. So do not use the statistics tool. You need to download the CVS in the manner I've shown you to recalculate to determine your LMI percentage, this number. So finally, reporting in the Integrated Disbursement and Information System, or IDIS. Just briefly mention a couple things about the system. I'm going to show you three screens, 1, 2, 3, finally ending with the screen in which you're entering the block groups for the service area of your activity. A couple points about this. To get to this screen, you're going to be making a selection of whether or not you're doing a census or a survey. If you choose census, that means you're using the HUD-provided data. If you choose survey, that means you're doing your own local income survey. In either case, you're brought to this screen, at which point you enter the block groups of the service area. Now, if you're doing your own survey, you will also enter the population surveyed as well as the LMI percentage. If you're using the HUD-provided data and you're an entitlement, it'll be calculated for you automatically. Now, the thing that's missing from this screen, and we hope to improve soon, is to also allow grantees to enter place codes. Because as I mentioned, in rural areas, the place geographies are what are being used to represent service areas. So in the meantime, you can select the corresponding block group, but then provide the data for the place instead. And finally, here are all the resources that we've discussed today. We talked about the CPD Notice 1413 for surveys, the income limits from Section 8, Notice 1902 for the HUD-provided data, as well as the data sets on the HUD Exchange. Thank you very much.